Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على عبده ورسوله نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد, dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to a live new episode of Ask Huda after about 6 weeks of break due to traveling. I pray to Allah Azza wa Jal that He grants me and you the sincerity and the beneficial knowledge that would get us closer to Him. I'll believe that you will see the numbers to call under the screen displayed at the moment. So until you give us a call, we have few questions pending from the emails. Brother Suhail says, I have a question. Can we say that fasting, zakat, performing hajj all come under the ruling of obligatory sunnah? This is something that a lot of the brothers and sisters usually get confused in. Sunnah in the Arabic language means the way. And it has another definition when jurors talk about sunnah. So in the linguistic definition, when we say that the Prophet ﷺ performed hajj only once in his life, and this hajj is a sunnah, this doesn't mean that if you don't do it, you're not sinful. No. Sunnah in the linguistic definition means anything that the Prophet had done, ﷺ, whether it was mandatory, recommended, permissible, anything that the Prophet did, ﷺ, this is his way. So it is his sunnah. So that is why when people ask, for example, about the ruling on leaving the beard or growing the beard, some scholars say it's sunnah, meaning that the Prophet did it, ﷺ. Those who have no knowledge will say, if it's sunnah, then I can do it and get reward, and if I don't do it, I'm not sinful. This is not what is intended. When we shift and go to the other definition of the word sunnah, which the jurors use in the 5 rulings known as al-ahkam al-shar'iyyah. So when we come to that, we find that there are 5 rulings that the jurors use. Obligatory or mandatory, this is number 1, wajib. And then you have highly recommended or preferred, which is mustahab or sunnah. And then you have permissible, and then you have makruh, which is not recommended, and then you have forbidden, which is haram. Now, talking about the second level, which is recommended, this is a sunnah. If you do it, then you have reward for doing it. If you don't do it, you're not sinful. For example, praying 2 rak'ahs after maghrib salah. This is voluntary. Now, this is a sunnah. Yet, in the linguistic definition, even praying maghrib itself, the 3 rak'ahs of maghrib, it is a sunnah. But in the juror's definition, it is a fard that you have to do. So I hope this answers your question. The second question is that Fatima is saying, in the West, where segregated colleges and universities hardly exist, would it be haram for a Muslim woman to attend them even if she is covered properly? My personal opinion is that it is not permissible for a woman, for a girl, to attend such freely mixed universities or colleges, because the harm is far greater than the benefit. Alhamdulillah, nowadays we have homeschooling, we have universities online. You can do this without mixing with the opposite sex, which is the root of all evil, the cause of all evil. So this is my personal opinion. You can ask the scholars in your country, and they would have maybe a better perspective on such a. Brother Atif from Saudi.
Yeah, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Yeah, Sheikh, my question is regarding the funeral prayer for Shaheed.
Okay.
In Sahih Bukhari, it is mentioned that Prophet ﷺ prayed the funeral prayer for Hazrat Hamza radiallahu anha long. No, he did not pray for Hazrat Hamza, but in Ahkam al-Janaiz, it is mentioned that he did pray. So, so can you please clarify, these two hadiths seem clashing each other.
Okay, I will, inshallah.
Yeah.
Brother Muhammad from Saudi Arabia as well. Brother Muhammad? Is Brother Muhammad with us?
Hello?
Yes, Brother Muhammad.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I have a question with regards to hijama.
Okay.
I know this is hijama, as per Muhammad Sunnah. One of my cousins, he showed me a hadith, and we just wanted some clarification with regards to this hadith.
Okay.
The hadith is, it says, narrated, Awan bin Abu Juhayfa, my father bought a slave who practiced the profession of cupping. And my father broke the slave's instrument of cupping. And, should I give you the number of the hadith?
No, I know the hadith, akhi.
Yes, so we just were confused if hijama is, what is the context of this hadith?
Okay, I will answer inshallah.
Okay, jazakallah khair.
Wa jazak. Okay, Brother Asif is asking about something that confused him, which in regards with, is it part of the sunnah to pray funeral prayer over a person who died in the battlefield or not? The scholars have different opinion regarding this issue, and those who said that the Prophet ﷺ prayed funeral prayer on some of the martyrs, or that before he died he went to the graveyard or to the battlefield of Uhud and then he supplicated for them, those look at this as only dua and not the actual prayer of the 4 takbirs and so on. And the others would say, no, the Prophet offered this prayer and the narrator said that he offered the funeral prayer, so we take it as it is. I personally believe that it is not part of the sunnah to offer funeral prayer over martyrs. Why is that? Because the minute they die in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal as a martyr, then they do not need our supplication to them. They do not need our intercession. On the contrary, they would intercede for 70 of their household. They are the ones that are in the mercy of Allah Azza wa Jal. Therefore, it's an issue of dispute. Those who see that it is part of the sunnah, they would do it. Those who don't, they would refrain from doing it. And what might add value to know that we do not wash them. And which is something we do to normal dead people. It's part of the communal obligation that we would wash a dead corpse, except with those who die in the battlefield as martyrs. We are supposed to bury them in their wounds, in their bloods, in their clothes, not take them out of them. We shroud them in their clothes or in an extra piece of cloth if possible. So this is the sunnah, and maybe this adds a little bit of benefit when we know that they have a certain way of treating when they are getting their burial, different than the normal people. And Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Brother, Brother Muhammad from Spain. Brother Muhammad. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah. Yes, brother.
Sheikh, I have 2 or 3 questions. The first question is regarding prayers. When one enters the mosque, after Fajr, or whatever time you enter the mosque, you're supposed to pray 2 rak'ahs before sitting down. So, what to do when you enter, because for example, you place a living in the mosque, you cannot hang around, so as you come, you have to go back inside before that you have nowhere to hang around until the sun and some such that. So you have to go inside directly. What to do? We have to pray at that moment, although it is
Second question.
not recommended when sun going down. That's the first question. The second question is concerning writing stories.
Okay.
Sometimes fiction stories for children or for even for adults, but it has nothing to do with no haram whatsoever, and no foul languages for children or for
Third question.
for adults, but for entertaining stories, but it has nothing to do with haram. So if it is allowed in Muslim can survive this, or theater, for example.
Okay. Third
So
question.
I have some stories written down and another theater I want to written down, but I'm not sure what to do if I'm going to publish them or if they are haram or halal. If they are halal, if not allowed, I'm not going to do. Sure.
Okay.
That are the two questions for now.
Two questions. Okay. Farzana from Saudi Arabia.
Hello?
Yes, Farzana.
Yeah.
What's your question?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, hello. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum.
alaikum.
Yeah, I have two questions. One is, like, if you are keeping our intention for Umrah, that is from Jeddah, where do we keep? Shouldn't we? Is it okay if we keep the intention after passing our Jeddah, what you call, border?
You live in Jeddah.
Yeah, we live in Jeddah. Usually we keep the intention from home.
Okay.
So, like, supposing we keep intention for Umrah, and then on the way, like, can we, if we want to make the Umrah for someone else's name, and if we have passed Jeddah, is it okay to keep that intention?
Okay. Second question.
Yeah, second question is, like, if we are praying behind an imam and we have gone after the first rakah. So we start from the second rakah, right?
Yes.
Okay, then do we go according to us, like, now the imam's first rakah will be my, second rakah will be my first.
Yes.
Yeah, and then when I go to the second rakah, when the others are standing up, should I do my the second rakah,
I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay.
You're welcome. I understand. Muhammad from Saudi Arabia's question was about cupping, and what confused him is a hadith where the Prophet ﷺ tells us that the earning of a person doing cupping is khabith. And there is a hadith where one of the companions, may Allah be pleased with them all, bought a slave who was a professional cupper, and he took his instruments that he does the cupping with and he broke them. And he narrated this hadith, that the dowry or the money that a prostitute takes is khabith, and the money that a soothsayer takes is khabith, and also the money of a person who does cupping. So the scholars were confused a bit because the Prophet himself performed cupping, and he gave the man who made cupping for him a dinar. And he told us ﷺ, that the roots of curing and treatment and healing in Islam depend on three. And that is a drink of honey and a slice or a slash of a cupper, a person who does cupping, and cauterization or al-kay, burning with a hot piece of metal in designated or certain places of the body. Now, the Prophet ﷺ said this, and yet he told us that the earning of a cupper is khabith. Now, the word khabith is not always muharram. It's not always forbidden. So with the soothsayer, with the prostitute, it is definitely forbidden. And it is not good. It's evil. But when it comes to a person who does cupping, we have to understand it that it is not good. Not that it is not permissible. It is not good. It's like eating garlics and onions. It has lots of benefits. Yet the Prophet described them ﷺ by being khabithatan. They're khabith in the sense that their smell are repelling. and they annoy people. So you're not permitted when you eat garlic or onions to go and attend prayer in the masjid, because you would annoy others, you would harm them. So the word khabith does not always mean that it is forbidden. And so it is the same with this hadith. Then why did the companion break these tools? Simply because at the time of the Prophet ﷺ, cupping was done personally, in the sense that there were no special tools. All what he has to have is a blade. He cuts or slashes the back of the neck or the shoulders, and then he gets either a glass, an empty glass, and he lights something, so he vacuums it from air, and he puts it inside, and it sucks the rotten blood out, which is black and rotten and very heavy, not as normal blood that people get when they get their wounds. Or, and this is what was usually done, he puts sort of a tube and he sucks the blood out with his mouth, and there is a possibility that some would come into his mouth. So this is not something that people look up to. And Islam looks up at jobs that preserve the dignity of a person. And at the time, and until now, if someone goes and sucks blood from a person, and the rotten blood, and may come into his mouth, this is something that's disgusting, though it has good medical benefits to it. And the awkward thing is that some Muslim doctors even fight this. Though the Prophet did it, and he encouraged us to do it, and so many studies encourage doing this, yet some so-called Muslim doctors in the lands of Islam still fight it and oppose it, and they close all clinics that have this beautiful sunnah being practiced. Yes, you can govern it, you can put regulations to it, but you don't have the right to stop such a treatment. Therefore, I hope this answers your question. Nowadays, is the earning of a cupper still looked down at? Well, I don't think so, because the majority of those who do cupping nowadays are professional doctors. So everything is sterilized, everything is clean and up to date, and Allah knows best. Muhammad from Spain, he says that if I come to the masjid after Fajr or before Maghrib, and we know that this is a restricted time for us to pray. The Prophet forbade us from praying. So what to do? Just roam around, standing, doing nothing, or should I pray? The answer is, you must pray. You should not sit without praying, because the Prophet said, whenever any one of you enters a masjid, he must pray before sitting down. And the hadith that forbids us from praying after Fajr until sunrise and after Asr until sunset, this hadith is a general hadith, yet there are cases that are specified, meaning it's not a general prohibition that one can say, no, you may not pray anything. Because I can say, okay, you say it's not permissible to pray after Fajr. Can I pray Isha prayer if I forgot it? The answer is yes. Okay. If after Fajr prayer, they brought a funeral, can we pray funeral prayer? I said yes. If there was an eclipse of the moon or the sun, can we pray in these prohibited times? I said yes. Therefore, you can add to that praying 2 rak'ahs before sitting down, because as Imam Shafi'i said, any prayer that has a legitimate reason can be prayed in the restricted times of prayer, and Allah knows best. Muhammad from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have one question regarding the Eid Milad al-Nabi.
Yes.
Today was Eid Milad al-Nabi, and it was celebrated all over the Muslim world.
Yes.
But I have not seen any activity in Saudi Arabia here, and I just want to know what is the reason. And we felt that these people don't have any love for the Prophet.
Very true.
There are no flags on the buildings, there is no ceremonies, nothing happened in Saudi Arabia.
Yes, true. Okay, I will answer your question,
Thank you,
Muhammad. You're welcome, my friend. Iman from the Emirates?
Yes, from Emirates.
Yes.
Iman.
Yes, what can I do for you, sister?
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Wa alaikum
three
salam.
questions.
Yes.
The first one is it permissible to use air miles to travel to Saudi Arabia for Umrah or Hajj?
Air miles, you meaning as a frequent
Air
flyer?
miles, the one we get from our credit cards by the end of the year.
From credit cards or from your frequent flyer membership?
Frequent flyer benefit.
Okay. Second question.
The second question is about sadaqah, about giving dam. If we have some worries or somebody is sick or we are worried about some bad thing happening, can we give this dam as animal or should it be equivalent to money?
So you are asking about a calamity that struck someone that you love. So you're asking, should I slaughter a sheep and give to the poor or give them money instead?
Yeah, that's what I'm asking, that we are worried about something. Maybe somebody is sick or something bad has happened in the family, so we want to give as dam.
Third question.
Okay, third question is about praying Ishraq in the morning. Is it after Fajr, sometime maybe I will be not sitting on the place of prayer till the time of Ishraq. I might get ready and go to the mosque. So after going there, can I pray Ishraq?
But you did not pray with them in the Jama'ah, in the congregation?
No, I did not pray with them.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. Okay, dokie. Brother Muhammad's second question from Spain was about writing fictional stories for children. Is it permissible or not? For children, inshallah, it is permissible because as long as the idea is good and the context is good and it's bringing up their morality, their behavior, their conduct, and you're trying and focusing to make them better people, I believe, inshallah, this is permissible. The problem is when it's for grown-up. Because for grown-up, you have to identify this in the very beginning. If you were following these conditions of not lying, not saying anything haram, not doing anything haram, and your intention is to uplift the society, then you have to mention in the beginning that these are all fictional, it's not related to reality or to truth, etc. So inshallah, if you put the conditions in mind, this is acceptable. Farzana had two questions. The first question was about people of Jeddah. Where do they assume their ihram? The answer is they assume their ihram from Jeddah. So if you leave the borders of Jeddah and then you want to make ihram, and you forgot because you left home with the intention to make your ihram, but you did not say your talbiyah and you did not assume the state of ihram. And you went until Mashru' Fawaz, for example, or Al-Rihali, and you went through the highway, then you've passed the borders of Jeddah. In this case, if you make ihram on the way, you have to slaughter a sheep. The easiest thing for you to do is go back to the borders of Jeddah and make your ihram from there. She's asking about a question a lot of the viewers ask about, and that is when we come to the masjid and the imam has already finished a rak'ah or two or more, and I join the imam. So what is my first rak'ah? The first rak'ah you join the imam with is your first rak'ah. However, you are instructed to follow the imam. So if you miss the first rak'ah with the imam, and now you've joined him in his second rak'ah, but this is your first rak'ah. So you pray with him, and you sit for the tashahhud, because the imam is sitting in the second rak'ah for tashahhud. And you say, if this is my first rak'ah, why should I sit? You should sit, and you must sit, because you're following your imam. After he finishes his 4 rak'ahs, you've prayed 3 rak'ahs, you stand up after he concludes a prayer, and you pray your 4th rak'ah, and you do whatever you usually do in your 4th rak'ah. Okay, we have Abdul Latif from Saudi. Abdul Latif. Turn down your volume, please, and listen to me from the phone. Abdul Latif. Abdul Latif, bye. I think he left the phone and went to bring a drink. So, Abdul Latif. Okay, let's take Ahmed. Abdul Aziz?
Yes.
Yes, Abdul Aziz. Listen to me from the phone, please. Turn down the volume.
Yes, sir. Yes. Yes, sir. Yes. No. I have no radio here in my room.
Okay. Yes, what can I do for you, Abdul Aziz?
Sir, yes, sir, I have a question. I am Filipino. And my question is, since when I am in Philippines, I have so many beliefs. I'm sorry, actually. And since when I'm here in Saudi Arabia, I noticed that there are some groups like Ash'ariya, Muturidiya, Idea, Al-Salafi Wahabi, like this. And I am confused which group I will follow, actually.
Okay. And so you want to know which group to follow. Who is your sheikh?
Yes, sir.
Who is your best sheikh that you believe in and trust him very well and listen to him a lot?
Yes, sir, I'm...
Do you have any particular sheikh that you follow and believe in whatever he says?
Yes, sir. I am Safi.
No. A living sheikh. Hey. Okay. Okay. Ahmed from Qatar.
Hello.
Yes, Ahmed.
Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
My question is regarding the camel in two parts. One related to Surah Ghashiyah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been wondering as to Allah has compared the camel with the three very extraordinary things: sky, the mountains, and the earth.
Yes.
So there has to be something very, very extraordinary about the camel itself, but I don't find much material on the subject.
Okay.
So if you can enlighten me on this subject.
Okay.
The second part is related to eating the meat of the camel. Why is it recommended that a wuzu must be performed again?
Okay.
So if you can clarify these two aspects.
I will try my best, inshallah.
Thank you.
Okay. Wa jazak. I don't know if we have time to answer the questions or we have a break, but okay, I was told that we have a break. Stay tuned and inshallah we'll be right back.
In a game of golf, both the caddy and the golfer have the same goal: to get the ball into the hole. Interest-free banking is similar. With a clear view of the fairway, a predefined agreement without shifting targets, things should end up where you want them. Your deposits are safe, and your funds are ethically managed with a transparent and equitable approach to sharing risk and reward. No interest burden means more time to relax without the worry of nasty surprises. Rest assured, our interest is mutual. Jazz Bank, Nigeria's first full-fledged non-interest bank.
Are you looking for a way to recharge your hearts or to get you back on track in your obedience to Allah? Or maybe you're looking for a program to remind you of your duties to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Here on Living Hearts, we'll be working together as a nation, helping each other to remain firm in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every Saturday, live on Huda TV, you will have a chance to learn your deen and at the same time listen to real life stories that will make your heart shake. Every believer needs a place to turn, and inshallah we can all turn to Living Hearts.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Brother Muhammad from, I think, Saudi Arabia, or from Dubai maybe, Saudi Arabia, he said that yesterday was the day of the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ, which is known as Al-Mawlid. And he is sad because the whole of the Muslim world were celebrating, and signs of jubilation and happiness was everywhere, except in Saudi Arabia, where the event passed without any official celebration. And this indicates that these Saudis, that's us, Wahhabis, Salafis, you call them whatever you want to call them, they don't love the Prophet ﷺ. And this remark has a true side to it, and it has a false side to it. As for the truth is that, yes, we did not celebrate the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ, and this is true. And I wrote a post on my Facebook about a week ago, and there was a video as well, I think, or maybe a sound clip, where I clarified the issue, and I don't see any harm in repeating some of it again. First of all, scholars differ whether the Prophet ﷺ was born on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal or not. But they all agree, all scholars agree, that he died on the 12th of Rabi' al-Awwal. So you do the math. Who's celebrating what? Those who celebrate his birthday on the day that he died in definitely are, maybe their love to the Prophet is questionable, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Though, who invented the celebration of his birthday? Was it the Prophet himself, ﷺ? No. Were they the companions of the Prophet, ﷺ? No. Were they the followers of the companions, the tabi'een? No. Were they the followers of the companions? And the answer is no. So if these three generations, the most preferred generations on earth, as the Prophet described them, ﷺ, did not celebrate the birthday of the Prophet ﷺ, do you, Brother Muhammad, know better than them? Can you come on the Day of Judgment and say, yeah, the Prophet did not know ﷺ, or he knew, but he kept it away from us? This is kufr. This is blasphemy. Do you love the Prophet more than Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali? May Allah be pleased with them all. Do you love the Prophet ﷺ more than the companions? And do you dare and say, yeah, they loved him more, but I think I know how to express my love more than they did? This is unacceptable. And not only that, look at the celebration of Mawlid worldwide, and you will see free mixing, and you will see dancing and chanting, marhaban ya nur aini, marhaban ya jadd al-Husaini, and they start putting perfumes, and this all stand up when they say this. In all over the world, they say stories about his birth, and once his mother gave birth to him, they all stand up and they chant by saying marhaban nur aini, marhaban jadd al-Husaini, and they say poems. Why do they stand? Why do they put perfumes in the whole area, in the whole room for the people? They say because the spirit of the Prophet ﷺ has come. And they put food and water. Why you put food and water? Because this is blessed food and blessed water because of the passing by of the spirit of the Prophet ﷺ. Is this logical? How many birthdays or mawlid do we have? Hundreds of thousands. And the Prophet ﷺ's soul is going from one place to the other? What kind of a religion is this? Not only that, akhi, I can talk from now till the end of the episode, giving you facts of what they're doing. But I will not do this. As for the claim that we do not love the Prophet ﷺ, this claim, we hope that Allah Azza wa Jal would reward us for being patient and tolerant on the Day of Judgment. Do you think I grow my beard because it makes me look beautiful? Do you think that I wake up in the middle of the night to go to Fajr prayer in the masjid, or to do this or to do that, abiding by the sunnah to the letter? Every single thing that the Prophet did, I try to follow. Do you think we Wahhabis, we Salafis, we Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah do this because we like to be weird, or so that people would look at us and we would stand out in the crowd? Akhi, whatever we do it for the sake of Allah. So we claim. And also we do it because we love the Prophet ﷺ. The way he eats, the way he treats his wives, and this is important, the way he treated his companions, his neighbors, his co-workers, the way we treat our children, the way we treat our parents. All of this, where does it come from? From the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. And this is the only way you can prove that you love the Prophet ﷺ. To find someone in his three-piece suit, well shaven, doesn't pray Fajr except after sunrise, doesn't know how to deal with his neighbors and with his wives, free mixing, listening to music, watching movies, and then once a night, once a year that is, he goes and throws a birthday party to the Prophet ﷺ, and they do chanting and dancing, and he may weep for a while. Oh, I love you, Prophet of Allah. When is the next movie coming out? And after that, 359 days, going back to square one, and you claim that this is the love of the Prophet ﷺ? Akhi, those who fast Mondays and Thursdays, those who fast the white days, those who pray night prayer, those who observe their witr, those who pray every single prayer in the masjid as recommended and instructed by our Prophet ﷺ, those who connect to their next of kin, those who do stay as far as possible for anything that is haram, whether it's major or minor, these are the people who love the Prophet ﷺ. Not those who go to their peers and to their maulanas and they kiss their hands and they kiss their feet, and the way they're dressed and the way they talk as if it is Quran revealed to them. So I'm told that it is a long subject and we have international calls. Adam from Nigeria. Okay. Omar from Pakistan. And I do apologize. This needs a specific or a special segment where we would discuss it from A to Z, pros and cons, and inshallah, Allah would make that easy. Iman from Emirates says, what's the ruling on using my miles for coming to Umrah or Hajj? This is permissible. Once you buy a ticket, they give you points. And as long as you are a frequent traveler, your points grow. And then you are entitled to get a free ticket. There's nothing wrong in that, inshallah. What is the ruling on, or what is better, to slaughter a sheep so that Allah would cure our ill person, or to give the money to the poor? It depends on what is needed. So if the people are hungry and starving, yes, slaughtering a sheep is good because Allah Azza wa Jal loves sacrifice. But if the people need money to pay the rent, electricity bill, their medical expenses, in this case giving it cash is best. Abdul Aziz, okay, the third question. Abdul Aziz, okay, from Medina. Yes, Abdul Aziz, turn down your television, please.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salam.
Yes, sir. Sir, my question is, I am a Filipino.
Yes, I took your question, Abdul Aziz, and I know what you're asking. And I'm asking you, do you have a living scholar that you love and follow and trust?
Well, in my place, I have no.
Okay, in Saudi Arabia?
No, sir, because I am only a worker here, sir.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah. I will answer your question to your satisfaction, inshallah. Amira from Nigeria? Okay, Amira is gone. Okay, Iman's last question. She prays Fajr in her home and she goes to the masjid. She wants to stay there until Ishraq and pray the 2 rak'ahs and get the reward of Umrah and Hajj complete. The answer, this is not acceptable. You have to pray with the Imam in the masjid, Fajr prayer, and then remain in the masjid until the sun rises in order for you to get this reward. Abdul Aziz, he's from the Philippines, And he is quite confused. There are so many schools of thought around him, and he doesn't know who to follow. Salafis, Wahhabis, Ash'ari, Maturidis, Mu'tazila, Khawarij. So whom should he follow? I would instruct you with the thing that I believe in. So something that is known as Wahhabi does not exist. There isn't anything as the Wahhabi sect. This is a slogan. This is something that the super Sufis and the Shia and all those who are not part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah, they use to degrade the followers of the Sunnah, the followers of the Salaf, the followers of the authentic Aqidah. So how can they label them with something that intimidates people? So they call, oh, they're Wahhabis. There isn't any Wahhabi school of thought. Muhammad ibn Abdul Wahhab, may Allah have mercy on his soul, was a follower of the Hanbali school of thought. In Aqidah, he was completely following Shaykh Islam bin Taymiyyah. So there isn't anything as such as Wahhabi. But this is what the Americans and the Europeans usually say when they want to give a halo or some sort of glow to Saudi Arabia so that they would intimidate people away from them. What Saudi Arabia is following is the Quran and the Sunnah with the belief and understanding of the Salaf. This is part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. This is what I follow. This is what I believe. So if it comes to Ash'ariyya or Maturidiyya, they have a big problem with the Asma and Sifat, with the names of Allah and the attributes of Allah. So that is why in this aspect they're not part of Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. When you go to other sects that have a lot of innovation, that have a lot of deviation in Aqidah. So as a layman, you ask me, what can I do? I don't know. I come from the Philippines. I come from Indonesia. I come from Mali. For example, well, Mali, we can't talk about Mali. What can we do? Well, akhi, you have to find someone you trust. Because you don't know Arabic and you do not memorize the Quran and you cannot find the authentic rulings on your own. So you have to have someone to help you. It's like when you have pain in your stomach, you just can't Google it. You have to go to a physician, to a doctor, and he would examine you and then give you the solution. Therefore, you have to have a sheikh, you have to have an imam that you trust his religion, his knowledge, that you trust his akhlaq, his conduct, his aqeedah. Someone you can tell him, I'm a blind man, guide me. And you should follow that person and learn from him. And once you can stand up on your feet, alhamdulillah, and start to investigate yourself, you can be on your own, inshallah. Khadija from Saudi.
Hello, Sheikh. Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Yes, I have two questions.
Yes.
One is, what is the best prayer or best donation or thing I can do for my departed souls, like my parents? They are no more in this world. So what is the best prayer or best donation I can do for them? Number two is, whenever I pray, and sometimes I cannot recognize all the ayat and surahs, while praying, can I just look at the book and read it? Is it permissible? Can you answer this for me?
I will,
Thank you
inshallah.
very much.
You're welcome. Amira from Nigeria. I apologize for our brothers and sisters from Nigeria. Okay. Ahmed from Qatar. He's asking about the camel. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned the camel in Surah Al-Ghashiyah. And Allah mentioned the camel, the heavens, the skies, the mountains and the earth. And Allah is instructing us to look and ponder upon these four signs of Allah Azza wa Jal, four creations of Allah. And He's saying, now heavens and the earth and the mountains, this is huge. But why did Allah begin with the camel? What is so special about the camel? I'm not a zoologist, I think they say it this way. I'm not someone who knows about animals. And yet, there are so many researches you can find on the net in Arabic. I don't know if you find anything like that in English, but Allah Azza wa Jal brought to the Arabs who the Quran was revealed to something that they can relate to. And if you examine a camel, you would find this power, this magnificence, this majestic way of living. And you would find also a lot of scientific miracles in the camel. For instance, I know a physician, a doctor, a female doctor, who resides in Jeddah and who wrote a number of papers on the cure of cancer by using camel milk and camel's urine, mixing it up and drinking it. Said, ugh, disgusting. Yeah, it is disgusting, but if you want something that cures you, well, this is what the Prophet instructed, ﷺ, the Uraniyin, who came to Medina and fell sick. He told them to go to where the camels are and to drink from their urine and milk. And in few days they were fit as a fiddle, or as they say. Now, this is medical science proving that it cures from cancer. I have a friend, a teacher, that I used to teach with about 20 years ago. I met him a few months ago, and he told me that he had cancer and they took out a lot of his guts. I don't know the medical term of that. And it was spreading like wildfire. And when he saw the papers that this physician did, he contacted her and he took the portions to be used, and subhanAllah, in 5 months, it was all gone and cured, only by drinking camel's urine and milk. And until today, he is fit, mashallah, and he still drinks the camel's urine and milk. This is one aspect that I know of. Now, if you go to experts, they would probably tell you that the camel can travel for 7 days without food and water, and the camel is so strong, he's four-wheel, definitely. He goes to the desert, he goes to green areas, he can live in mountains, he can live in so on. I don't know this, so you have to do your homework and check the web. Now, he's asking also, why is it that we must perform wudu if we eat camel's meat? Well, this is what the Prophet said, and the hadith is completely authentic. Definitely and surely it's authentic. It's in Sahih Imam Muslim. The Prophet was asked, should we perform wudu after eating mutton meat, after eating sheep meat? And the Prophet said, if you wish, it's not a must. And then he asked him again, he said, okay, do we have to perform wudu after eating camel's meat? And the Prophet said, yes. So the only school of thought, by the way, that says it's mandatory is the Hanbali school. The other schools of thought do not say that it is mandatory. And the most authentic opinion is, it is mandatory because of this hadith, which is black and white, it's crystal clear, that proves and obligates that you perform wudu only from eating camel's meat. So drinking camel's milk doesn't nullify and does not affect your wudu. Why? This is what the Prophet ordered us, ﷺ. We cannot sit back and say, why did Allah Azza wa Jal prohibit wine? Why did Allah Azza wa Jal order us to pray Maghrib 3 and Fajr 2 and Asr 4? Give me an explanation. Give me a reason. Why do we pray Fajr, Maghrib, Isha loud prayers while Dhuhr and Asr are silent? Why is gold haram for men? Why women have to cover and men don't have to cover? This is Islam. This is submission. If you do not submit your will, if you don't say, I comply, sami'na wa ata'na, then there is a problem with your Islam. So we have to take it as it is, because we don't have any justification from the Quran or from the Sunnah. Khadija is asking, what is the best thing that I can do for my loved one who had passed away? What is the best prayer? What is the best charity? The best thing that you can do is to supplicate for them, to make dua. The Prophet said, ﷺ, when a man dies, all of his good deeds are cut off except of 3. Continuous charity, like a masjid, like a well that it continues to benefit people, or beneficial knowledge, like writing books, like doing shows on TV or on audio books, etc., or writing books, and people benefit even after you die. And thirdly, he said, a righteous offspring that does that supplicates for him. So when a person dies, his offspring, whether boys or girls, keep on supplicating for him, this would add in his good deeds. So this is the best that you can do. Now, are there anything else? He said, yes, you can offer Umrah, you can offer Hajj, you can give charity. So the more you give to charity on behalf of your father, your mother, your loved one, this would reach them with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. She says her final question is that I read in Salat, sometimes I miss an ayah or two, I get mixed up, I don't recite a lot of the Quran. So is it possible for me to open the Quran or open my phone or my PDA and read from it during Salah? The answer is yes, this is permissible. There is nothing wrong in that, inshaAllah. Sayyida Umar from Pakistan. Umar Bhai.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
I want to ask a question.
Yes, bro.
Yeah, there's a rule that if we do ablution and wear socks, so we can we can just wipe over it.
True.
So if we wear turban, so the same rule applies that we should have to wear after performing wudu.
Okay.
So we can wipe it over it.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Brother Umar from Pakistan is asking on the ruling on wiping over the turban. And the turban is something that the Arabs and also in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in Algiers, in Mali, Tawarik, they do this. They wear, the Sudan, they wear a turban on their head. And sometimes it takes ages to wear. So is it permissible when they're performing wudu, as it is permissible to wipe over the socks or the shoes, can they also wipe over the turban? The scholars say if the turban is the type that goes under the chin, so you roll it and then you go under the chin and you roll it again and it has a tail or it doesn't, regardless, this is a type that you can wipe over, because this type of turban is very easy to remove. The other type is very difficult to remove and to put back again. So if it's this type, this is permissible, inshallah. Also, if it is freezing cold and you're wearing a hoodie or something on your head that is fit and firm, and if you expose it, it's like in freezing countries, it would harm you or it would be very hard for you. This is also permissible for you to wipe over. Okay, Abu Sufyan from India.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh, I want to ask you a few questions.
Yes.
What is your address in the Facebook?
It's Asim al-Hakim, one word.
Asim al-Hakim, one word, okay.
Yes.
My first question is Zamzam water is mixed with the saliva of Salatu Salam?
At the moment, you mean?
No, Zamzam water, because I heard that someone telling me Zamzam water is mixed with saliva of Rasulullah Salatu Salam.
No, this is baseless.
Okay, and my second question is regarding istikhara.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to ask if I make istikhara and I got the yes or no for a particular question. So should I follow that istikhara or still I have my opinion?
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, my third question is regarding if I can ask Allah Subhanahu wa Taala to I can ask that if I want to see Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in my dream.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
Hayyakallah. Wazak. Okay, this is the last question, inshallah. Sister Uzma.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
I'm fine. Alaikum salam.
Sheikh, I wanted to ask about qisas and the ruling about abortion in qisas. The situation was such that there was a kind of divorce, it was kind of divorce, but finally they did. This divorce did not take place, but for that reason, an abortion did take place. So, what is the ruling about Islam? Is it included in qisas, and does a sacrifice has to be made?
How old was the pregnancy?
2 months, 2 or 3 months.
No, you have to be specific.
Pardon?
You have to be specific.
It was actually related to my friend. It's not. So I'm asking on her behalf. I'm not sure about that.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. Abu Sufyan from India's question. He says, is Zamzam water mixed with the saliva of the Prophet ﷺ? And the answer is no. This is not authentic. There are other wells that the Prophet ﷺ spit in, because it was completely dried, and it was a miracle of Allah Azza wa Jal that it was filled in seconds with water, but not to my knowledge that Zamzam had the same thing in it. Allah knows best. Brother Abu Sufyan says, the istikhara. Now, do I get a yes or no? No. Istikhara is choosing between two before praying, huh? So, shall I buy a red jacket, a yellow jacket, or a blue jacket? I don't know. I'm mixed up. So, I have to make a decision. Say, let me go with the blue. Then I pray 2 rak'ahs, asking Allah Azza wa Jal to facilitate this if it has good in it for me. And I go to buy it. If it happens and if it takes place, then Allah Azza wa Jal has chosen for me. If it doesn't, if I go to the shop and they tell me we're out of blue jackets, and I know that Allah has chosen for me not to buy it. If I give them the ATM card and it doesn't work, I know that Allah Azza wa Jal does not want me to buy it. But it is not being confused between two things, and I pray istikhara so that Allah would give me a dream or a vision, or a cat would die in front of me, or whatever, so that I can be able to choose. No, it's not this way. Third question, can I ask Allah to see the Prophet ﷺ in my dream? Definitely yes. And you can ask Allah Azza wa Jal every single day that, oh Allah, grant me the true vision and to see your Prophet ﷺ in my dream. And he has to, if you ever see the Prophet ﷺ, he has to fit the description of the Prophet ﷺ as ascribed to us. Ozma's question was, a friend of hers was in a divorce case and she was pregnant. They didn't divorce, but she aborted the child. And the child was either 2 or 3 months old. And we know that a child or a fetus is not alive until it is 120 days of age. And that is why scholars say that it is not permissible to abort a child that is below 120 age, 120 days of age, and above 40 days. So if the child was about 2 weeks, 3 weeks old, the fetus, if the fetus was 2 or 3 weeks old, scholars say, some scholars say that this is permissible to abort because it's not a human being, it's not even a blood clot yet, or a leech. It's still a sperm. However, after the 40 days and before the 120 days, although the spirit is not breathed into it, yet it's still forbidden to abort it. If a person, as in our case, did this and committed such a sin, they're sinful. But is there any qisas? What is the meaning of qisas? When someone aborts a child or a fetus that has been breathed, the soul has been breathed in, that is after 120 days and before labor, before the birth of the child. In this period, if a child was aborted, there is the blood money that should be given. And it is 1/10 of the diya. Because we know that there is a blood money for a grown-up, and this is 100 camels. There is blood money for a female, and that is 50 camels, half of it. And the blood money of such an aborted child or fetus that the soul has been breathed in is 1/10 of his mother's diya. So it's 5 camels, the equivalence of 5 camels. So in her case, in her friend's case, this is not applicable because the child or the fetus was younger than 120 days, younger than 4 months. So there is no blood money, but she and whoever collaborated with them in this evil act must repent to Allah Azza wa Jal and ask Him for forgiveness. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time, fi amanillah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.